This is a podcast by the Straits Times. Welcome to the Double Feature Movie Podcast, coming to you live from the tea rooms of the SPH Pleasure Dome. I am Jonathan Roberts, and I'm joined this week by Joanne Soh, Deputy Lifestyle Editor and Chief Movie Reviewer of the New Paper. Hello.
Hello.
Our film this week is the Tom Cruise Death Wish Experiment. I've often joked that this is the title of the Mission Impossible films, but it has never been a more appropriate title. In fact, it is the most appropriate title for Mission Impossible Fallout. That's the movie this week, and it does seem at times that Tom Cruise does indeed have some kind of death wish. But before we get into the film itself, it is, of course, the sixth in the series. Joanne, how do you rate the Mission Impossible series?
I think it's getting better and better each episode. And I think from the very first one that he started, where we see him doing the crazy stunts, where he had to come down and then do it on the computer thing, where he was going...
Mission Impossible 1, which was 1996.
So long time
22 years ago. I recently binge-watched the entire series over the weekend. Yeah, he looks surprised. I mean, Tom Cruise is kind of defying age anyway. He's 56, the rotter.
He doesn't look his age, definitely.
No. But yeah, in the first film, he does seem extraordinarily young and chipmunk-like.
Yes.
But yeah, the first one, directed by Brian De Palma, was not amazingly well reviewed.
But it was a good action show.
It's quite plodding compared to the current ones, certainly compared to Fallout. It does have the iconic him in a black John Smedley polo shirt, as I remember oddly well, suspended from the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then, of course, in 2000...
that's the really forgettable one. I call it the vain one. Vanity Project.
Mission Impossible 2, directed by John Woo, who was like a very hot property at the time, but it's very clearly hampered by the Hollywood way of working. It's very slick, though. A fantastic cameo by Anthony Hopkins.
I seriously don't remember anything about the number 2, except that Tom Cruise flicks his hair and every time before he does something. So there's a close shot of him always flicking his hair or, taking off his glasses or something.
In movie history, number 2 is very significant. Basically, it's the film that saved the X-Men franchise and gave Hugh Jackman his career. Because the villain of that film, Dougray Scott, was meant to be Wolverine. And because of Mission Impossible 2, he then couldn't take the role. I doubt he'd still be playing Wolverine to this day. But
Reboot.
Yes. Well, speaking of reboots, in 2006, it took 6 years. J.J. Abrams' first film directing gig. And that is basically where the modern
I think that
Mission
one really set
Impossible
the standard for the new Mission Impossible movies.
This is also, I think, where Tom Cruise really gets into doing his own stunts. He'd done his own stunts before, but this one is where he really starts overly doing his stunts. Like, you can let someone else do that, but no, he really wants to do it himself.
I think that's I don't know. I remember that show as, the Tom Cruise run, where he just runs. So he has this very beautiful run on cinema, on screen, where he just, his straight body and just runs and runs.
Well, he's got the flat palms thing going on.
Yeah,
He's got the very robot run.
Yeah, I remember that, that show was his run. And of course, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
If we skip along, Ghost Protocol, by Brad Bird, where Tom Cruise decided to climb up the Burj Khalifa.
That's the first Brad Bird action film.
Yeah, so that's Brad Bird's first live action. Right?
Live action, yes.
Yeah.
After Incredibles.
And then for Rogue Nation, he got his Jack Reacher friend, Chris McQuarrie, to direct.
Who is also doing
Fallout. And I would not have thought that Chris McQuarrie would have this particular film inside him, but clearly he has gone over and above for Fallout. So, what do you think of Fallout?
Well, I think the word impossible is not in Tom Cruise's dictionary. If you look at the film, it's really incredible. It's like how he actually put himself through all the various stunts and all the death-defying moments. He's 56. He's not young. He's Tom Cruise. He doesn't need to do any of these kind of things to prove to everybody that, he can do it. He's Tom Cruise. He can just do a lot of CGI or green screen or get a stunt person, but you see most of the stunts, you see his face and you actually see him do it. Yeah,
I'm sure it's also sickening for anyone else who's got an action film coming out anytime soon, because this film, frankly, it doesn't quite set a bar. It just takes the bar and jettisons it into space and then you'll need NASA to catch up with it. I came out of this film, I had the same feeling as I did when I came out of Dark Knight, in that I felt I'd just watched a game changer. This is a very strong contender for Movie of the Year, not just in terms of how it's produced, but it is relentless. It is a 2.5-hour film, and it never lets up once. And it also does something that the Bond franchise failed to do with its last film, which is Spectre, which tried to tie everything together. What Fallout does is that it also brings all those elements. It even has callbacks to the very first film.
Yeah.
One of the characters, I mean, it's briefly mentioned. The great thing is that if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And it makes no difference to watching it. One of the characters is related to an arms dealer from the first film.
Really?
Yeah, so the White Widow, played by Vanessa Kirby, who you may know as Princess Margaret from The Crown.
She's so gorgeous.
She is, and she also has this, every time she looks at Tom Cruise, it's just with the kind of palpable lust. She looks like she's going to pounce on him at any moment and devour him. Apologies for jumping all over the place, but essentially the plot of this film is that as a mission has gone wrong, they've lost some plutonium, oh dear, you know, that kind of thing that you do. And a terrorist organization who are an offshoot of the terrorist organization from the last film are going to detonate some bombs. So he has to go chasing after it. Unfortunately, the CIA also want to close down the Mission Impossible force. So he's given a bodyguard stroke babysitter in the form of Henry Cavill, who's this ultra macho, arrogant idiot who goes along.
No, but that's I think that's the magic of, or what we call it, the formula for Mission Impossible. You don't really care about the plot. It's just basically something screws up. You have to go and save the day. You don't really need to know much about the plot for all the Mission Impossible films. It's basically some conspiracy, some intrigue, finish everything, and then, you know, detours here and there, but you don't really care about the plot. It's always the same. It's the action
I wouldn't say
that's
you don't care about the plot, because I mean, it's still, it's smarter in a way, because it's always about the job to me. It's as much as he always goes rogue in these films, which is like a recurring thing.
I mean, the plot is very basic.
I'd say it's more driven. It's a very straightforward, you have to get to this, but he has to outsmart people at the same time, which is why he plays double agent quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, the stunt work in this is...
It's just really mind-blowing. It's the amount of risk that he put himself into. I mean, like the Halo jump, and right in the beginning, I remember it was like, 50 minutes in the film and they're giving us this. Then straight away he went to the even the car and the motorcycle chases in Paris. That's amazing too. I mean, the camera work is fantastic.
There is an extra level of muscularity to this. There is a fight in a bathroom that is brutal to the point of you flinch watching the action in this. There's so many moments in this film that I was just thinking, Tom, you don't have to do this.
Yeah, you don't. He doesn't need to.
The CGI, Tom, you really don't. Some of the moments in this, you really leap out your seat. I suggest you do watch these making of videos after you've seen the film, because it does... I don't know, I think it takes something else from the first watch of the movie, but it will add to it afterwards.
I think you appreciate the efforts much more after watching it, and it's like you see, you know, that you feel the actual risk that they've gone through, and you know when they explain like how there's only like maybe a safety wire just holding on to him, and all the wind elements might just, anything changes, he might just die.
Yeah, and you were quite impressed by the helicopter stunt.
Yeah, I think so.
He's triple hatting in that.
Yeah, I mean, he picked up how to pilot the helicopter, and then he has to act, and then he has to operate the cameras that's specially mounted on the Airbus.
Yeah.
So he has to do everything, and you know, he actually flew the helicopter himself. You know, I think we watch it after that, and then you realize that, wow, okay, I really paid the price for the movie ticket. It's worth it.
Oh, yeah, no, it is. I mean, he is 56 now. One of the stunts took 2 years to plan.
That's right.
So...
if you start planning now... No, wait, he's doing Top Gun now. So give him 2-3 years, he'll be like... 60?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he'd still be able to do it. I don't know what stunts he can do next. Possibly just diving into a volcano. I mean, this is not Tom Cruise as a complete Superman. He does show his age. In one of the fights, he shows his vulnerability as a human.
Yeah, that he's not so young anymore.
Yeah, he's not so young anymore. But yeah, possibly get another one out of him before he has to hand over.
Well, they tried, but
Oh, the Jeremy Renner thing, who mysteriously is absent from this one.
was he in the last one?
Yes, he was. Him and Ving Rhames kind of team up. But yeah, strangely, not here in this one.
Not mentioned either.
Not mentioned, yeah, which is strange. But Alec Baldwin is back as the chief. Ving Rhames, of course, is the perennial favourite, still there. And Ving Rhames does have a really nice emotional moment in it.
Yeah.
There is elements of this that bring back all the past films. And there is heart in this. There is also the amazing Rebecca Ferguson, who I have a complete crush on.
She was such a delight in the last one, and it's so good to see her back in this one.
Yeah.
And obviously, she's going to definitely be part of the team in the next one.
I hope so. Yeah.
It looks like it will be.
She's amazing. I just sit there kind of doe-eyed. As doe-eyed as you can be when you've got IMAX glasses on top of your glasses and everything else. But yeah, just one final shout out. Sean Harris as the main bad guy, Solomon Lane. Amazing look for him. Last one, he looked like a chinless pen pusher, kind of. This one, he looks like a martyred saint from a Renaissance painting. It's quite amazing. All right, so I take it you'd recommend seeing this film, Joanne?
Definitely.
Would you rate it a 5-star?
Well, I was convinced to rate it a 5-star, but I justified it. Maybe 4.5 to 5 stars.
If you're rating a film on effort alone, this is possibly a 6-star film because so much effort is in it. There's so much bone crunching. Of course, Tom Cruise damaged his ankle in this thing doing a stunt. So yeah, 6 stars for effort alone. I think it's a great film anyway. It's really entertaining. It's 2.5 hours, flies by. If I had any issue with it, I think the countdown's a bit unrealistic. I think the towards the end is like, yeah, there's kind of like movie world time and there's real world time, but I don't know how you top this. I mean, as I said before, other films must just be like just sighing in despair after they see this. The Bond franchise may as well just pack up and go home and just pretend they don't have another film to do. I don't know how you top this particular film. It is that good. So yeah, 5 stars. Go see Mission Impossible Fallout and encourage Tom Cruise to risk his life even further for Mission Impossible 7. Okay. Of course, the other thing that happened just recently was Comic-Con, a rather muted Comic-Con at San Diego. But of course, there was a slew of trailers released. Have you seen the Shazam trailer, Joanne?
Yeah, it's just very. I don't get it. It's very strange. Is it supposed to be a kids' movie? Is it an adults' movie? A superhero movie? Or is it a comedy altogether?
It looks like a superhero version of Big. Check it out. Clearly, this is DC. This, along with the Aquaman trailer, is DC moving into the world of light. Now, they've had rain-soaked grimness and, murder and awfulness. And now they're moving into, hey, let's have fun with stuff. But I don't know. I'm not convinced by Shazam. A bullied teen given the powers of the ancients from this wizard who becomes Shazam and turns into, what's his name? Chuck, the fellow.
Zachary
Levi. In a strangely inflated superhero muscle suit.
No, but the thing, my point is, I mean, it looks very strange. First of all, obviously it's a fake suit, but if it's supposed to be a muscle suit, but it looks more like a fat suit. So I'm not sure what kind of superhero is it supposed to be. Well,
my issue is that it's like a joke on a joke. I mean, it's if he was to transform into The Rock, say, that's enough because but then he's already done that with Jumanji. I don't get what the joke is. Is there some kind of like? Why does it look so fake? Because clearly there's Zachary Levi's kind of little head sticking out of this foam muscle suit. It could be fun. It looks like it's aiming for fun. So, hey, And speaking of the other one, Aquaman, what do you make of that?
I think there's so many things in the trailer. So I'm just worried
Like
that
the whole movie.
yeah, that's my point. It's like I'm just worried that whatever he's seen in the trailer is what's going to happen in the movie. So it's like, do I still need to watch the movie?
If-
But I noticed that he has slimmed down a little bit. I mean, not so bulky as compared to
Has he?
in Justice League.
Okay. I mean, Jason Momoa was a welcome addition to what was that, Justice League, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, in this I could probably watch a whole film with him being this kind of sassy surfer dude superhero, which is fine. But yeah, the rest of the film just looks okay. So
It
lots
just
of
looks
CGI
like
there.
yeah, special effects things, and towards the end, like in the Latino trailer, so it's okay. Aquaman is supposed to be happening in real life, real world, right? But in this funny ocean thingy, but you have all these crazy creatures and monsters fighting down under the water. So is it like another make believe world or fantasy world, like say a Guardians of the Galaxy in a different universe?
It's
So-
the universe under the sea, or indeed the underverse. But I don't mind that so much. Just make it look convincing. It seems a bit too pop, bit too Dayglow, like they have looked at Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
and said, okay, well, make it colourful. Another big name coming along is Godzilla. And there's a sequel coming out called Godzilla King of the Monsters, and it stars Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. And the trailers, what did you make of it? I mean, clearly there's old favourites for people who like those films.
I'm obviously not a Godzilla fan.
King Ghidorah, Rodan.
I have no idea what. Seriously.
Okay, so you have no idea. Would you be tempted to watch the film?
I'm not sure. I probably have to watch it because I have to go review it, but I might not understand it. Maybe towards later, because so are they trying to save the world? And they said that the world is like something has gone, some infection or something. But why do you need the Titans or the monsters to come and save the day? So I don't get
the
that
idea
part.
that Vera Farmiga she has unleashed these monsters as a kind of, it's similar to the motive behind the bad guys in Mission Impossible Fallout, in that they want to
The greater good.
Yes, create a catastrophe and then let everything grow back after that because mankind is a virus. All that kind of. I get that kind of vibe from it. It's really interesting in that they use Claire de Lune, that very famous tune, a very gentle tune with these kind of huge monsters being found and stomping around, which is kind of the trailer for the last Godzilla film was nice teaser because it had music from The Shining. No, sorry, music from 2001, and it was just the guys dropping out the plane, and you have the red smoke, and then you come up on the Godzilla creature. This one is similar. Is that it just using more of a tune than anything, and it's like a mood piece. I don't know. Sometimes you just think, how can you get monsters stomping over things wrong? And I think the last Godzilla film showed you just how far it can go wrong. In that it had concentrated on these guys that you're not particularly bothered about.
But I think this is just definitely catered for the Godzilla fans. I mean, if you read on the buzz on the internet, it's like everybody's like, they're happy about all the various creatures around. They're showing up on screen.
Oh, King Ghidorah. I can't wait for that. Sorry. Then again, I like the album by MF Doom. But yeah. Shout out to the hip hop people, because I'm all about the kids, right? I know music. Oh, you should listen to it. Phases is fantastic. King Ghidorah, take me to your leader. Anyway, with this nonsense, we shall say farewell. Huh?
You don't want to sing that song?
Which song?
The video.
No, it's a bit too much rap for me. It's
Double feature.
and when I rap, it's with the capital C. So. So with that nonsense, we shall leave this edition of the Double Feature Movie Podcast. Do join us again. Joanne, thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome.
I wonder when the next film that we see will be as good as Mission Impossible Fallout.
Fantastic Beast. My kind of movie.
Okay. You'd have to convince me. Oh, that's right. Mamma Mia. Here we go again. Let's go watch that one next.
No,
Oh, no, really. It's an endurance. If you go, I'll go.
I'm not going.
Oh, come on. We've got to sit. Okay. Well, it's not convinced Joanne to endure Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again with me. just to see what our reactions are. Oh, get ready for venom. We shall say farewell until next time. Thank you and goodbye.
That was an SPH podcast. Find us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and streaming on Google Home. Do send your feedback to podcast@sph.com.sg. You can also check out more podcasts on various topics at straitstimes.com and bt.sg.